Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. My name is Hailey Rowe, and I'm a sales and marketing coach and LinkedIn lead generation service provider. I work with health, life, and mindset coaches and online service-based business owners to help them get more sales, shift their time to the client-generating activities instead of just the busy work, and overcome that social media overwhelm. Let's get into the show. So the podcast you're about to listen to was actually filmed 5 years ago via Facebook and Instagram Live. And I'm repurposing it because the tips in it are still so relevant today. But I want to give you a heads up that I mentioned my old Facebook group, Health Coach Nation, which unfortunately got hacked about 2 years ago. I don't even know how long ago. But the new Facebook group, if you're looking for a community and you're looking for business tips and you're looking for network opportunities, you can join my newer one. It is facebook.com/groups/the Marketing Hub group. Enjoy today's episode. Enjoy this blast from the past, and I'll talk to you soon. Today, we're going to be talking about one key theme I see among coaches who are trying to grow their business. They feel frustrated and stuck, and they are at a point where they're almost considering giving up. And this really happens quite often. And I'm going to share with you a very valuable couple of tips to overcome this theme that I see, to save you some time and some expensive, costly mistakes, and get you moving forward in your coaching business the fast way. So, what we want to talk about today is this theme of coaches worrying and spending their time on the wrong things, okay? And what I mean by the wrong things are things that are limiting them, contrasting them, keeping them stuck, keeping them in their limiting beliefs, things like that. And so we're going to talk about how so many coaches that I connect with and who are trying to market their program are focused on the wrong things and what those things are. So the first thing is they oftentimes are spending their time feeling like their features have to be amazing for their coaching program without focusing on the benefits and the promise and the transformation that their clients will go through. And this is mainly as well, if you're ever looking for a coach, I found that sometimes, even myself, when I was looking for a mentor and a coach, I found myself being like, well, so how many calls is that? And how many weeks is that? And what is the order of the modules? And how do I get through all that? And all the things that did not matter. What we should care about is the transformation, what we're going to learn, how we're going to grow, who we're going to become at the end. But instead, a lot of times, coaches spend their energy on, oh my gosh, okay, so that would break down to X dollars a minute, and it doesn't. That's not how life or your business works, right? We have to be able to have a whatever it takes attitude and put in the energy for that transformation to happen for our clients, and however that takes shape or form, so be it. And where we get caught up, and because this is something that's really shifted for me. I used to be super rigid because I was like, they need to know the exact number of calls, the exact number of weeks, and I still do that. My packages are really structured and there's order to it. But that's not really what, at the end of the day, I focus on. What I'm focused on is making sure that our communication is clear, that things are going well for them, that they're getting the support that they need. And if that means having a quick phone call to go over their workbook or something urgent, or they have a discovery call today and they're nervous and they need to hop on a quick call, I think that's what makes me different, in that a lot of coaches would just say, nope, sorry, we just have our one call and your workbook and good luck. And I think that we as coaches as a whole need to be focused on the transformation, and stop also, when you're shopping around for programs and coaches, stop caring so much about, okay, so that's 12 weeks and that breaks down to 1 hour call, and okay, so it doesn't matter. This time around, I've worked with a coach that had clear structure and boundaries, which is great. We all should have boundaries, of course. But I also worked with one coach who said, here's what we're working towards, here's the goal. And I'm not going to give you an answer about how many calls that's going to take, what that's going to look like, how many Facebook messages you're going to get from me. It's just, we'll figure it out, right? And that was so hard for me to invest in because there was so much uncertainty. I was like, but what if, like, but what, like, where's the structure? I couldn't comprehend. I was like, what am I buying? I don't know, right? And it really bothered me for a while, and it took me a long time to make that decision to work with that coach. And when I did, it was a great decision. It was the best thing I ever did, right? One of the best things. So vice versa, when I've been focused on the time and how many sessions and, what is the amount of texts you will send me, whatever, etc., it doesn't matter as much. And it also doesn't necessarily mean results or transformation. So the first takeaway and the first time shift I want you to have is stop focusing so much when you're shopping in your business, even when you're deciding what to outsource, looking for a program, looking for a coach, etc. Stop focusing so much on the features. Focus on who you can become by getting support. And that is the truth. Every single time I've made an investment, I've become somebody different by the end, especially because every time I make an investment or a decision, I know it's 1,000% up to me. I never make somebody else responsible. I go in thinking this is going to be the best decision I've ever made, and I try to find the evidence to make sure that it is. Okay? So who here agrees that you can take that responsibility and you can take it upon yourself to make it the best thing you've ever done or the worst? It's up to you 100%, because that leads me to my second tip, which is spending a lot of time on the negative, draining on the negative in your business, over analyzing, overthinking, etc. That doesn't serve you, because one example that I will give you is one time I did a program that I didn't love. I just didn't love it. It just, it was nothing against the program, but it just wasn't my full aligned thing. I didn't find my tribe or whatever, right? And so I could have taken that experience, and for a little while I was in my dirty diaper about it. I always refer to the dirty diaper of your mindset as, that's what I call it. Okay, so I was in my dirty diaper for a little bit, kind of like, oh man, I wish I didn't do that. Why did I do that? It's all their fault, taking the blame game, etc. And then I was like, actually, long term, looking back now, that was actually great. There was a lot of great things about it, number one. And number two, I gained so much confidence from that program because it made me feel confident about what I have to offer. Because I was like, wow, if this is this, I think I am doing a lot better. And it's not to say in a negative way, but I think it was like a realization for me, like, wow, I can be confident offering what I offer. I can really stand by what I offer. I feel really good about it. I feel like I'm, very supportive and maybe different. Like I found a differentiator. That's what I want to say. Not better, but I found a differentiator in myself, if that's a word, right? Okay, so it was valuable, and it ended up paying off because after the program, I was able to show up on my discovery calls and in my business in such a more confident place because I'd been the client, and I'd been the client who experienced something they didn't love, and I knew what that felt like, and I was able to serve on a whole new level. Okay, and don't get me wrong, we all as coaches are always going to be improving, always going to be growing, always going to be scaling, but take every experience and just decide it's going to be the best thing. You're going to make it the best you can, and use the program, use the coach you have, etc. So second tip is don't waste your time dwelling in the negative and saying, why me, and placing the blame game and sitting in your dirty diaper. Instead, decide this was the best thing because after the fact, now I'm so much more confident in what I offer, or after the fact, I learned how I don't want to do this, or whatever, okay? So that was my tip 2. Tip number 3 is if you are draining yourself on little tiny details, if you guys are draining yourselves on My website needs to be perfect, yet I have not had any paying clients. My logo needs to be perfect, and yet I have like 4 followers. That stuff does not matter. Stuff doesn't matter as much, okay? Yes, showing up as a brand is great. Aesthetic, a lot of people care about it. If that's your audience and they really, really care about aesthetic, then yeah, sure, obsess about your website and stuff. But most people, we have to know what our core audience cares about and focus on that and focus on serving them to feed those core values that they have and core feelings that they have. So if you're draining yourself on indecision about a website, or you're like trying to tweak your tagline like to be this is a perfect thing, the first 3 years or so of your business, I think you can get to that point where it's going to matter and you have the time and freedom to like obsess over those things, but I don't think it's at the beginning of your business. You want to have a strong message, you want to have a clear niche, definitely, for sure. Comment yes if you have a niche below, or comment what your niche is in the comments. But it's not necessarily important to obsess over the logo and stuff. My first logo was really ugly. It was like made in clip art, really bad. My podcast cover was made in Fiverr, and I think I paid like $10 to get my first podcast cover made. I'm working on a new one, you guys. It's gonna be much prettier. But it was basic. I decided on the name of my Facebook group, Health Coach Nation, in about 5 minutes. I did not obsess over these things. And these things can change. They've changed over time. My logo's been updated. But in the beginning, I needed to roll with it. I needed to have fast implementation because I didn't have time. And many of you, this is going to take me to my next lesson. Many of you guys don't have time to dabble, okay? You don't have time. You work maybe a part-time job or a full-time job, or you're a mom and you're trying to build your business, and you don't have time to obsess over those little tiny things. You should be focused on the macro things that move your business forward the most. Connecting with your audience, discovery calls, showing up in building that community or that tribe in your Facebook group, all that stuff, your launch strategy, etc. Okay, so get riled up over here. Okay, so that is tip number 4. The next couple of things, this is something a lot of coaches spend their time on, and it's chasing somebody who doesn't deserve you. Okay, this was a hard lesson. So as coaches, you might really want to be booking more clients. And sometimes you'll get somebody who maybe is a fit, but it's not like a full fit, and you're chasing them for the wrong reasons, meaning not actually because you feel you can serve them, help them, etc., but you're just like, I just want a client. And that, I really strongly suggest you don't chase people who don't necessarily deserve you. Not everybody's going to get you, right? There's like Taylor Swift, and then there's like the Grateful Dead. 2 completely different audiences. Not everybody's going to get Taylor Swift. Not everybody's going to get the Grateful Dead, right? And so when we have somebody who maybe is more of a fit for, let's say Taylor Swift's a coach, and we also have Demi Lovato, and there's this, both of them have a lot of overlap in their audience. They have probably young girls, and they probably like pop music, and they like upbeat, fun, powerful women empowerment things. But maybe one of them is thinking about working with Taylor Swift, but they're kind of like, I just that one song that you have, Love Story, I didn't really like that song. And they just don't fully get you. And they don't fully see what's possible for themselves and their transformation. And they're just not in this headspace. Like, they're going to be a pain client, meaning not. So they're just going to really like suck you dry, constantly have a reason why they can't do something, constantly be convincing themselves out of taking action, etc. And that client is not, it's okay that they're not a fit for you, and we don't want those clients. They don't even deserve you, okay? Maybe, because Taylor Swift, clearly deserves great clients, right? I don't know where I was going with that, but Demi Lovato, maybe there's somebody who's a better fit for Demi Lovato because they had challenges growing up with body image or something like that, and Demi Lovato is like, that is the coach for them. So as you can see, let's back it up. Don't chase people who don't necessarily deserve you in your energy, because you want to make room for the people who are amazing, who will be great clients, who will care about their journey, and who want transformation and will take action. The last couple of things that I want to mention is let's see what I wrote down. Oh, yeah, okay. So there's this comment. I can't really see the comments. If you guys are commenting, I don't even know. Can you please try to comment and see if it will come up? Thank you for your comments over here, Instagram. Yay. I don't know how to say your name. I want to make sure I say it right. So I'm not going to say it. But let me know after this video. Nala Jean, did I say it right? Nala? Anyways, okay, so what we also don't want to do, here's what typically happens. Here's your path as a coach. You get your certification. You buy an LLC before you knew if you even needed it yet, because you're not making enough money to even need an LLC at this point, perhaps. You bought a logo. You bought a website. You bought all these things, and you're like, all right, I'm ready to rock. And you didn't invest in the one thing that actually is going to make you money back, which is your marketing and sales training, your ability to market yourself now and be a proud person, affiliate for your own program, aka sales. So if you are at this point where you think you've bought all the things that matter, that is the pivotal moment of truth where actually, if I could go back and like tell everybody, hold on, finish your certification and then get a business coach or get marketing support and something that's going to help you learn how to launch and like grow your audience and book clients. I would love to tell everyone that, because what most coaches do my website, get my logo, all the stuff. They spent all their money that they could have spent on their business. Nothing's coming back to them. Zero ROI. And then they're at this point like, crap, maybe I should have had a business coach. And then they're at the point where they've wasted all that time and money, expensive mistakes, right? And then they're like, well, now I can't even invest in a business coach, so I'm stuck. So please check yourself before you wreck yourself with your choices and investments. The time to invest in your business is the moment you finish your certification or before you finish your certification, to start building up your audience, warming them up, building a wait list. Can you imagine if coaches in their certification program started getting a wait list going for their program while they were still in the program, and then they graduate and it's like, yes, I got a wait list. Can you imagine? What an amazing, different way to go about it, right? So I would really advise you, if you can, to do that. Okay, the last thing is, what was this? I have a lot of scribbles. The winners. Okay, so here's who wins when it comes to time management and growing your business. The people who take the fastest intentional action. The people who are opened up to learning, investing, growing, making an educated decision, lining up with it. Notice there were no sections in there where I said overanalyzing, obsessing about like the time and the features and the things that it's going to take to get there, beating yourself up, comparing yourself to others, anything like that, right? The logistical path is to get a structure, aka highly recommend getting a business marketing sales coach and training education so that you can take your certification and not make sure it's not a waste, right? Do the program, commit, keep learning and growing, and keep going. And that's it. So you don't need the mental beat down. You don't need to obsess about the, tiny little details on your logo. There's gonna be mistakes. You can always fix it. You can always improve for the next time, etc. But that is my take on time management and our time management series, part 4. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. So let me know if you have any questions. For those of you who don't know me, who you're new here, my name is Hailey. I didn't introduce myself. I am a marketing and sales coach for wellness professionals who want to grow their business. And what I mean by grow your business is book clients. Book clients consistently, have a consistent pipeline of clients, get really good at your discovery calls, things like that. So if you have any other questions, let me know. And otherwise, I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. I'll be live tomorrow at 4:30. And the last thing I want to oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Last thing I want to say is I'm going to put a link in the comments to my Instagram, and you can go and look at the highlights section, and there's a section that says my story. And I'm sharing that with you because I did a lot of the things that I shared with you today in this video, made a lot of the mistakes that I suggested you don't make. So I suggest you watch it to get some hope, to get some wisdom and things to not do. And if you have any other questions as well, I will answer them in the comments. And the last thing I want to say too, before I forget, is in about a month, I'm going to have 3 new coaching spots. So I'll put the link to my strategy call application form, and if you want to apply and fill that out to get a free call with me, you can. It's not a call that locks you in or anything like that. It's to see if you're a fit. It's to see where you're at. It's to see if I can support you. And that's all I have to say. All right. Thank you. Bye. And goodbye, Instagram. Do you guys have any questions? Who has a puppy? Okay. All right. Thank you. Adios. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. And if it's really helpful for you, I'd really appreciate if you share it and or leave a written podcast review. This tells the podcast sites that our show is useful and it will be promoted to more people that way. Thanks again.